So with Boruto chapter 13 dropping next week, I did want to get your guys' predictions on the upcoming chapter. We've been doing this for the past couple of months, and like always, I do want to get your guys' opinions and thoughts for the upcoming chapter because I would like to hear what you guys think when it comes to the future of Two Blue Vortex, as when it comes to making prediction videos, it's kind of hard to anticipate what's going to happen. To be honest with you, Boruto as a series has been so hard to really predict on what's actually going to happen within the storyline. So as per usual, every month I'm going to ask you guys for your predictions in the community posts and on Twitter. So without further ado, let's get right into it. So from Vix Raptor, Momoshiki comeback hopefully. Now we've been discussing this for the past couple of chapters now, with Momoshiki hinting to be coming back simply because we know that Boruto cannot control his own karma, right? And with him having trouble being around Kawaki simply because of the dynamic of their karmas being able to sync with each other, Boruto's gonna have to overcome this dilemma one way or another, or else Momo will come back. And I think that's the easy answer to say right now for Momoshiki to make a return. I think it has been anticipated for a while now, and within the past few chapters, with basically everyone in Konoha being destroyed by all of the Shinju, and now with Juro the only one left remaining now that Hidari was killed off, I do think the comeback of Momoshiki is very plausible. Now this is something that many people have been saying, and I will not rule this out. I do think it will happen one way or another. We've already gone, what, 12 chapters into TBV, and we haven't even seen a glimpse of Momoshiki yet, so that should tell you that eventually, one way or another, we will get to him. So next from Josh, Kashikoji sees Boruto in trouble, so he uses Flying Raijin to help him and also brings Sarada along with them. Then transitions to what Matsuri and the Bug Clone are doing and what their plan is moving forward. Now this is an interesting point from Josh. I'm glad he brought this up, especially with the other Shinjus, since we do know that Hidari was killed off last chapter, and with Jiro making the statement that he is going to kill Boruto now, let's not forget there are two other Shinju still relevant in the story. We just haven't seen them in the past few chapters simply because Hidari and Jiro have been the main focus ever since they come to invade Konoha. However, the other two, they do have their own goals of devouring Konohamaru and Ada as well, and for all we could know, they could be lurking in the shadows waiting for the opportunity to strike. And when it comes to Kashinkoji, yes, right now he is working with Boruto to take down these Tentails, and with Boruto being sniped last chapter, it is very plausible that Kashinkoji could just use the Flying Raijin, or Boruto could use the Flying Thunder God to teleport to Koji as well as with Sarada in order to stay alive. This could also mean that Kawaki is going to be left open again. We actually see Kawaki and Jiro fight once again, but this time Kawaki at full power. But that's a good point when it comes to the other Shinju, because we haven't seen them for the past few chapters, and I think it is needed one way or another. We do have to see them. So next from Sonic, Hang on Sasuke, a deep dive on the Ten Tails Awakening, and a flashback chapter showing Boruto creating the Uzuhiko Rasengan in order to destroy the Ten Tails because of the Thorn Soul it has. Think about it, Boruto is trying to free Sasuke by destroying the Ten Tails before the Shinju were created, so it must have been the key to releasing everyone, but the Shinju were too fast and awakened early, forcing Boruto to go with plan B. Now this is a good point from Sonic, because here's the thing with Uzuhiko, the jutsu is insanely powerful, and if there was a way to free Sasuke and all the other characters that were devoured by the Shinjus, it is possible that the Uzuhiko was created in order to stop these beings, right? Since we already saw just how powerful it was last chapter when Boruto decided to use the Uzuhiko at damn near maximum power. When he tried to use it on Hidari, he essentially one-shot him. So with that being said, when it comes to fighting somebody like Jiro, who is probably the strongest amongst the Shinju, Jiro probably understands that Boruto having this jutsu could be a problem to his own goals when it comes to devouring his targets. Same thing goes for the other Shinju as well. Next from Mr. Wabbit, Momoshiki shows up and destroys the village. The only way for Momoshiki to show up is if Jiro goes to kill Boruto right away. That is the only real way that Momoshiki can finally make an appearance, because let's be real here, Momoshiki is just lurking in the shadows waiting for his opportunity to strike. He did tell Boruto at the end of part 1 that even though he cannot resurrect through his body anymore, he will find a way to literally live through Boruto's body, take over his mind, and become Momoshiki essentially through Boruto for the rest of eternity. He did mention that he does want to break Boruto's will to the point where he gives up his body, and this is where Momoshiki will continue to live as Boruto Otsutsuki for the rest of time. The only way for this to happen is if Jiro actually tries to go for the kill, now that Boruto is down and out, and with Jiro making that statement that he does want to kill Boruto, and as well as devouring Kawaki, which let's not forget, that is also Momoshiki's goal of feeding Kawaki to Ten Tails. I don't think Momoshiki's gonna let that happen, especially with his vessel dying, because if Boruto dies, so does Momoshiki, and if he does awaken, The only real way for him to destroy the village is for him to fight back against Juro, which I do think that is very likely to happen. Next, from talent, I think they'll shift to Matsuri and or to Bug since it's the start of a new volume. We haven't seen them since chapter 5. I believe so, that I think they're due for an appearance. And I agree with you, talent. I think we should get some more pages on Matsuri and Bug simply because they are the other Shinjus. They do have their other targets in Konoha, i.e. Konohamaru and Ada, as well as we are heading into a new volume. I think chapter 12 is the last chapter to volume 3. Correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, chat, but I'm pretty sure it's the start of a new volume. So heading into the next chapter, wouldn't be surprised if we saw either or characters. Next, from Donut Yellow or Donatello, Kawaki realizes that he has to keep Boruto alive in order to beat Juro, making him even more frustrated with being weak. I feel like we're about to see a parallel of how Naruto mocked Boruto for choosing a shortcut and not training, and Boruto mocking Kawaki for not training enough. I also think Mitsuki or Damon will show up since Himawari will probably be in danger, and I think this volume is going to be one that is dedicated to Damon's power. This or Code randomly making an appearance and stealing the Thorn Soul from Juro and evolving finally. Now this is a lot, man. This is a lot. I do like your first point. Heading into TBV, with Boruto and Kawaki becoming pure Otsutsuki, there was a lot of speculation on just how strong either characters will become. And so far in TBV, in the first 12 chapters, Boruto has proven to be one of the strongest characters ever, and arguably the strongest, right? When it comes to Kawaki, he has seemed to lag behind in terms of his overall power level. The most impressive part about Boruto is he's been able to get exponentially stronger without using the karma at all, simply through the work of training and mastering his own jutsu and coming up with a new jutsu in order to combat his weakness of not being able to control his own karma seal. Whereas with Kawaki, he has been kind of just using the karma as a shortcut, and we even saw when Boruto was fighting Kawaki for the meantime, when they met up in the Leaf Village, Boruto kind of chastised Kawaki for not training enough, since he was able to essentially beat him in about 2 pages or so, which for Kawaki standards, it is embarrassing. And I think one way or another, Kawaki will wake up and realize that he is too weak to take down any of these opponents, including Boruto as well. And in order to stop Juro, he's going to need to have Boruto by his side. Because right now, I feel like Kawaki is just too far gone when it comes to trying to kill Boruto. In the latest chapter, he didn't try to kill him right away, so that is a start for him to start realizing that he can't just try to kill Boruto simply because he is now on that power level. Mitsuki or Damon showing up would be interesting since Himawari is also in danger. I do think a Damon appearance is soon to be anticipated, simply because Ada is also a target to one of the Shinjus. Ada and Damon are being monitored by the rest of the Konoha ninja, including Mitsuki as well. So I don't think those guys will show up right away. The only way for this to happen, in my opinion, is if for somebody like Matsuri or the Bug Shinju, who is targeting Ada after all, comes into the Leaf Village and tries to attack Ada right away. That's where I think we will get to see Damon and see him fight at full power. Right? I don't think he'll leave Ada's side to go fight Juro. I think Boruto's gonna handle that for now. Code coming back into the story and stealing a Thorn Soul from Juro would be hilarious, simply because I do think he can teleport amongst the claw marks. Let's not forget, all of the Shinju, their power is derived from not only the Ten Tails, but also Code's claw abilities, meaning that possibly Code can just teleport through the claw marks and just grab it from out of his body, which would be crazy. If he can use that to evolve his powers, I think that would be a way for Code to finally make a statement within the story, because right now, he's just fodder. So next, from Naruto the 7th H, Kawaki finally shows us his Karma V2, because no one else is strong enough to take on Juro other than him, since right now, Boruto's out for the count. Or, number 2, we see Momoshiki finally show up, and my best guess is he teams up with Kawaki to take down Juro, because Kawaki would obviously join in on the fight. Now, I do think these are the 2 most plausible options when it comes to this upcoming battle with Juro, simply because Boruto is down for the count, right? And Kawaki is the only character left standing. Sarada has also been sniped down. I think Konohamaru is also on the ground, trying to protect Himawari as well, and Sumire. So with that being said, these are the only 2 characters that can really do anything. I don't see Boruto trying to get up and fight. I think he's too weak right now. And with him being injured, as well as already being in battle for the entirety of TBV thus far, if he cannot use the Flying Thunder Jutsu, my boy is screwed, and that means Momoshiki will finally have the chance to show up, and he could team up with Kawaki. Not only that, you did bring up a good point with him using his Karma V2, because even though we've seen Kawaki fight so far, and even though he is being treated like a fodder character left, right, and center, I do think we haven't seen Kawaki fight at full power yet, which has been interesting to see because every time he's fought, he has been utterly embarrassed even though he hasn't fought at 100% full power using his Karma Seal. So next from Warana, Amato's gonna make an appearance, maybe a few pages. I think, yeah, I mean, I don't really see him doing much in the next chapter, but a couple pages of dialogue won't hurt from Amato. Next from Sith, I think this is a chapter where Kawaki uses Karma V2 with the horn out that he used against Boroshiki to fight against Jiro, because from what I've seen, it seems to activate when Kawaki is at a need when he needs more power to deal with his enemy, and this seems like the perfect chance for him to use it, and it's the only way he has got a shot against Jiro anyways, but it also seems like it's also going to include everyone else versus Jiro as well, to which it has the potential to be a very good fight, and Mitsuki will probably join in too, I would think, and maybe Damon too if Ada asks for it, which might mean that we will have a Damon versus Jiro fight for chapter 14, and Boruto won't come back until the end of that chapter. But if not, then Boruto is coming at the end of this chapter, where I think Momoshiki will be coming back and healing Boruto's wound, just as he did in the Boro fight. Maybe the Karma's resonance plays a role too. I do think we can get a combination of that, because Kawaki is the only one left standing, and he has no other choice but to fight. When he was initially trying to confront Jiro, he did tell Delta, who was with him at the time, that he understands that he does not have the power to fight Jiro at all. He tried fighting him earlier and he got absolutely destroyed. Delta even told him, what are you going to do against him? And he even told her, I don't even know, but I have to protect the village. That's the only chance he has left. And I do think this is going to continue. However, I do agree with you. I do think he's going to go out all out with this Karma. However, knowing how strong Jiro is, and he did hint at it when he did fight Himawari, he has yet to use 100% of his full power. He only used a little bit of it when he was fighting Himawari. If he only used a little bit of it against Hima, what exactly is Jiro's full power if Kawaki is able to use his Karma V2 and is able to push him back in this upcoming battle? Next, for my boy Zecora, probably Amato will do something dumb. I think it's a gut feeling. I mean, here's the thing with Amato, man. He has always been so calculated with whatever he's done. He has never really taken any crazy risks, and even if he has, it's always been calculated. He always knows what to do. He always understands what his next step is. For example, when he decides to betray Kara and for Kashin Koji to kill Chigen, he knew exactly what's going to happen, and that's why the Leaf Village was able to kill Ishiki in the end. Obviously some help came through, however, I don't think Amato will do anything dumb for now. However, I would not be surprised if Amato gets some screen time in the next chapter, considering that he's been somewhat of a narrator when it comes to the new dialogue being presented so far in Boruto and into TPV. Next, from My Star Killer 1, Kawaki awakens his Karma V2 in his fight against Jiro, and because of the resonance that Kawaki has, Momoshiki comes back around the end of the chapter. We get some dialogue of Kashin Koji and potentially Log and or Orochimaru, and we probably get a sneak peek of Jiro versus Boroshiki. Jiro gets frustrated and he might summon his friends, aka Matsuri and Bok. Jiro wants to kill Boruto, man. Boruto knows too much. He knows about the Thorn Soul, and for the goals of Jiro, for him to accomplish them, he's gonna have to take down Boruto because he just knows way too much about his people, and Kawaki can just be used as fodder as well because he also wants to devour him for his Otsutsuki genetics. Dialogue of Kashin Koji, I do think that is a given, considering that he's been more active in the past few chapters of TBV, since he is also working with Boruto and he has been in communication as of late in the manga. So there could be a way for Orochimaru to make an appearance, however I don't see Log coming into the manga anytime soon. Next, from Toku Blue, not a prediction but I have a question. Do you think Momoshiki will actually be able to use the Rasengan Uzuhiko? Because it reminds me of the Spear Bomb. So what if it works the same or similar like Goku, not being able to gather energy for it when he's a Super Saiyan? Momoshiki can't get chakra for Rasengan Uzuhiko when he's in control since he's evil. Well, here's the thing about Rasengan Uzuhiko. We do understand that in order to use the jutsu, you must use the rotation of the planet. I don't think it works similar to the Spirit Bomb because it's not energy of being a good guy. We do know that Momoshiki is evil, of course. I don't think that Uzuhiko is going to work similar to the Spirit Bomb simply because it uses the power of the planet. And if Momoshiki gets his hands on that Uzuhiko, I think that could cause the demise of the Leaf Village. Maybe not the entirety of the destruction of Konoha like we saw in episode 1. However, I do think if Momoshiki can get his hands on that Rasengan Uzuhiko, that can cause a lot of damage, especially if he's able to awaken, if he's able to fight Jura in the next chapter. Next from Saber Pendragon 701, Code returns and backs Jura. I don't think so. I highly doubt that will happen, simply because he's not strong enough. If he can't fight Boruto, what makes you think he can fight somebody like Jura? Just not happening. And last from TRAD, Kawaki tries to kill Boruto. In the latest chapter, he didn't try to kill Boruto right away. I do think it would be funny if he tried to, because his goals is to kill Boruto. I wouldn't rule out that if he just sees Boruto down for the count and he tries to finish him off right away, that could create Momoshiki awakening and coming out to protect Boruto, or Jura actually comes to the battlefield and confronts Kawaki, trying to devour him and killing Boruto. Alright, so onto Twitter from Bolt TBV. I hope we get more lore about the Thorn Soul and how Kashin Koji knows about it. Really want to know what happened behind the scenes before we get into the action again. And I like this, man. The Thorn Soul is very interesting because obviously this was created after Hidari was killed by Kawaki. If it is anything similar to like a chakra fruit where it can be devoured for more power, then I'm not gonna lie, we could be screwed here. Because if Shinjura has it in his hands, let's say he can use it to hypothetically devour it for more power. Sort of like how Momoshiki was able to do it when he turned into Fusion Momoshiki after devouring Kinshiki. Once he turned him into a chakra fruit, that could make him even stronger. And the good thing, and I'm glad you mentioned Kashin Koji because he does know about it. He did mention in the latest chapter that he has seen something like this before, meaning that he has already seen the Thorn Soul and already has information about it. And getting more lore about it would be important since this was just introduced. This could really open up more possibilities for the Shinjus and what's next for Boruto and Kawaki now that Hidari was killed off. Boruto also did mention that the Thorn Soul could be used as a way to bring back Sasuke since he was devoured by one of the Tensei's when they were fighting Code. Next from Pranav, since it's going to be a new chapter after a cliffhanger, we might get more information about the Thorn Soul. We might even see what happened after Jira's attack on Konoha, or worst case scenario, he might cause more issues. I don't think Jira's going to just stand idle like he did in the latest chapter. I do think he's going to go in for the kill, trying to kill Boruto, and I do think Kawaki's going to try to fight back. Because there's no way Jira's just going to stand there and just chill. I'd be very surprised if Jira just leaves and goes back to whatever dimension he was chilling in with the other Shinjus alongside the Thorn Soul. I do think he's going to go ahead and try to finish off Boruto, knowing that he did snipe him in the latest chapter. Next from Boruto, of all characters will appear. Yeah, that's definitely going to happen. Next from Kami Momoshiki, yeah, that's a given. I'm hoping for Delta versus Jura, and I don't think Boroshiki will be coming out because Boruto doesn't seem to be so damaged to the point he'll pass out. If he does seem to manifest, Boruto will probably just Raijin out, meaning that he'll just teleport. Now this is an interesting point from Krill, shout out Krill. He's not on the brink of death, and we don't know how tired Boruto is. Let's not forget, for Momoshiki to awaken, Boruto must exhaust enough chakra to the point where he has none left, and I'm not sure if Boruto is at that level since he just was in battle. However, let's not forget he just used Rasengan Uzuhiko at almost maximum near output against Hidari, so he has exhausted a bit of chakra. So he has exhausted a lot of chakra so far, and so I do think there is a chance for Momoshiki to come out. However, this is a good point because Boruto, let's just say he understands that he is at risk of dying. He could just use Flying Raijin and just get the hell out of there. I do think that is very plausible considering that right now I don't think he's able to fight back simply because he was shot down in the last chapter, and for him to do anything more useful without the need of Momoshiki, I do think he probably will escape. And if Delta fights Jura, let's be real here, Delta's getting destroyed. Next from Ren, Jura will not retreat. Yeah, I think that's a given. Rock Lee shows up and unlocks the 8th gate to destroy the trees. Okay buddy. Yeah, 100%. So from PK, Momoshiki comes out and knows how dangerous the Thorn Soul is. Matsuri shows up to the scene, and Bug shows up to Ida's house, Amato playing something while Sumire isn't there. This is a good prediction, man. Even though, you know, people are saying Momoshiki could or couldn't come out, I would love to get more information about the Thorn Soul. If he does take over Boruto's body and sees that Jura has a Thorn Soul, we could get some more information because Momoshiki does know a lot about the lore of this series, of course. Because Momoshiki seems to be very smart when it comes to being in certain situations, and this will be another situation for him to possibly get the one edge over somebody like Boruto, considering that Jura was able to take down a lot of his comrades. I would love to see Matsuri and Bug finally make an appearance into the manga once again. We haven't seen them for a while, and them targeting Ada would be cool to see. see. Of course, with Amato, getting more dialogue and some more pages about him would be cool, since we do know that he is very fishy. Even though he hasn't really shown to be an enemy of the village just yet, he does know a lot of information that us as an audience don't know about just yet. I feel like Jura's gonna retreat, then Kawaki teleports to Koji. In all likeliness, I think this is what's gonna happen. Yes, Jura could fight Boruto / Momoshiki and or Kawaki, but at the same time, I do see Boruto just leaving the battlefield altogether in order to escape to Kashin Koji using Flying Thunder Gaijutsu, and possibly Kawaki trying to fight back against Jura, since Jura is targeting to devour Kawaki as well. However, I wouldn't rule this out at all. In fact, I do think this is very likely to happen. However, if Jura is super serious about taking down Boruto and devouring Kawaki, I do think he's gonna at least try to battle Kawaki first, where he most likely will whoop his ass once again. But yeah, this is all the predictions that you guys have given me. A lot of them are the same, with Momoshiki coming out, information about the Thorn Souls, Boruto potentially losing control over his body with Momoshiki arriving, Kawaki versus Jura, maybe Boruto leaves the battlefield. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this video in the comment section below. What are your predictions for Boruto chapter 13, and tell me, how excited are you for this chapter? So if you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe, hit the bell as well, and have a good day. Peace.